Epic ethics.
Welcome to another Epic Ethics story, part of the Daniel's Fun Ethics Initiative elementary school program. As you listen to the story, consider the 4 awesome questions, inspired by the Rotary 4-way test. Is it true? Is it fair? Will it build friendships and community? Will it be helpful to those involved? Stay with us after the story for some thought-provoking discussion questions.
It's about time you got here. Now come on.
And now, the story of 2 Brothers, a folktale from the Atacama people. There once were 2 brothers. One was rich, the other poor. The rich brother hated the poor brother, and so one day, tired of the treatment he received from his rich sibling, the poor brother left home in search of work. Having no food for the journey, he went to his rich brother's trash pile and gathered up the head of a rooster and some bits of bread. The poor brother wandered long and hard. Come nightfall, he came across a cave and decided to take shelter. Covering himself with his ragged, threadbare poncho, the poor brother fell into a deep sleep. At the crack of dawn, the poor brother awoke to the sound of 2 men sitting at the entrance of the cave. The strangers were covered in golden armor. Atop their heads they wore large horns. The poor brother remained tucked beneath his poncho without making a sound. As the morning light crept into the depths of the cave, the men got up, removed their horns, and started to dance. The poor brother tiptoed towards the opening, picked up the horns, and put them on his head. Terrifying chill moved up and down his spine. All of a sudden, the rooster's head began to crow. The men stopped dancing, removed their armor, and ran away. The poor young brother awaited for the sun to rise before leaving the cave. As he left, he looked at the armor, and surprised and elated, he saw it was made of gold. Gathering the armor, he made his way down into the city, where he sold it, along with the horns, and instantly became very rich. When the once poor brother returned home, his rich brother was quick to notice his wealth. "Dear brother," he asked, "have you come across prosperity in an honest fashion? Or am I to be the bearer of your confessions of theft and deceit?" The once poor brother told his rich brother everything. That night, the rich brother dreamed of even more fortune. In the morning, he was quick to kill a rooster of his own, gather a bit of dry bread, and set off to quench his ambition and greed. When he reached the cave, he crept into its bowels and waited. It wasn't long before 2 men, wearing horns and dressed in armor, sat down at the mouth of the cave. They talked long into the night, and at dawn they removed their horns and started to dance. The rich brother put the horns on his head, but the cock did not crow. So he poked it and kicked it, yet still the dead rooster lay soundless. Noticing that the 2 men were ending their dance, the rich brother decided to crow and flap his arms like a rooster. The 2 men ran off, leaving everything behind. The rich brother then tried to remove the horns, but couldn't. Frightened, he ran home, but the weight of the horns was too much to bear. Seeking rest along the way, the rich brother heard footsteps coming towards him. As he looked up, he saw a wizard standing over him. He quickly asked for help. The wizard told him to stand at the top of a cliff with an animal on his head. "A condor will then sweep down to catch its prey. The condor will steal the horns right off your head," said the wizard. The rich brother was quick to follow the advice of the wizard and made his way to a village that sat at the feet of the cliff he would climb to await the condor. A nearby shepherd sold the rich brother one of his sheep, and and the horned boy began his ascent. After a long wait, a condor started circling above him, but when it swooped down to snatch its prey, the sheep fell to its death in the ravine below, and the horns remained on the brother's head. He tried this again and again until he had spent his entire fortune only to watch it fall into a ravine of death and poverty. The end.
Discussion questions. Why do you think one of the brothers was rich and the other was poor? Why did the poor brother return home with his newfound fortune? What's the difference between a friendly prank and bullying? How do you deal with bullies in your life? When can dreams and desires become dangerous? What's the right way to get something we really want? What's the wrong way? How can we avoid following advice that isn't helpful?
This has been an Epic Ethics recording, generously sponsored by the Daniels Fund Ethics Initiative. We'd also like to thank Colorado Rotary District 5450 for your service above self and support of peaceful schools. For more information about the Epic Ethics program, or to bring this program to your elementary school, contact us at www.epicethics.org.